porous. So my plan here is literally to goop that as full of JB Weld as I possibly can. Man, is it spraying out of there now. Over here, we've got a good update here in the back of the old truck. I got a set of an axle and some leaf springs. This is not for that van, but I've got that. But if we look right here, that is an engine and a transmission out of a 1991 Dodge Caravan SE. Oh, there goes the pallet. Down. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while. I think I brought you in for a little bit for the donor equipment we brought in recently, but here we are. We're here. If you look, the garage is now over top of the 91 Grand Caravan SE, which means it is time finally to get this van going again. Would it run and drive 0.2 of a mile? Yes. Will it drive any further than that? No, it will not. Not until we get that new transmission in there. So we've got to get that transmission out. I've actually got to go pick up a proper transmission jack, and I'm going to do that in our 2000 Chrysler Grand Voyager SE that I just put new rat fans in, that you guys should already know about, maybe? I don't, honestly, the timeline is so messed up. Who knows? We just got that thing going again. It's going to make its maiden test trip to Mankato to pick up a trans jack from Harbor Freight, because where else would you get one? So yeah, we're going to do that. We'll get that going. Once that's here, we're going to get that hood popped open, and we're going to see about getting this van up in the air and getting that transmission out of there. This will be the first time I've pulled a transmission separate of the engine. I always just pull them together. Seems to be easier, but we'll find out. We'll see how this goes. It might end up proving to be a lot easier. It's quicker. It saves quite a few extra steps, but we'll find out. Isn't that right, Mr. Dilly? Isn't that right? It's warm out, isn't it? Yes, it is. All right, so it's been an all-day ordeal here. I also had to do some work on a customer's vehicle. Ha, ha, ha. That always turns out great, working on other people's stuff, right? Ha. Anyway, the old 2000 Chrysler Grand Voyager SE successfully made the trip and delivered all of our goods. And she's looking good from here. Look at those two right there. Isn't that nice? Anyway, we've got you. I don't even know what to call you. Needs a transmission, and that's where we're at here. So we step back this way, slowly but surely. Also picked up, and I've done some organizing today on all the tools. We've got engine stand 1, we've got engine stand 2 with our transmission on it and our $50 engine that technically isn't needed, but it's here. We've got our new engine stand right here, and we've got our new transmission jack, low profile, quote unquote, and that's what we got. I kind of eyeballed an angle at what the transmission pan under there is. It's all assembled roughly. Well, this came assembled except for the little brackets, but so here's what we got to talk about. We're 12 odd inches off the ground. We're a little over a foot off the ground, and then we've got about 18 inches of transmission, I would say. Here, about that high. So we got to get our van that high off the ground to be able to get the transmission to come out the bottom. That is what I'm set out to do tonight. I clearly am out of time for the day. It's 7 o'clock, but I've got a little bit of time. I figure we'll try stage this van and get it sketchily up in the air, maybe. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it. Probably get the van jacked up, get some stands under it, get some blocks for the jack it up higher, move the jack stands up. I've got some super big, tall jack stands that I've used before to hold the vans super high up in the air. But I think we're going to have to figure that out. I might have to move the tent forward, actually, so the roof doesn't hit it because it's going to go up that high. All right, there she is, and it's actually, I think, pretty good. I think it turned out good. So I got it jacked up in the air enough in the front that I get some stands under it, reposition my jack with a board. Then I got under the cradle, which is the probably lowest point in the front end where you can jack up by. Had that single board going across it, jacked it up to the point where I get my two big stands up under the front lower support there on the front of the frame rails. There's a little beam that comes down where you can lift from, which is actually really nice. And here, I'll show you actually. There's two little jut outs from the beam right there where you can lift on. At least that's where I'm lifting on. So, you know. Anyway, got those under there, and then I repositioned the jack again, and I got 4 boards under there, perpendicular to the other board, centered on the jack. And I got the jack centered on the cradle. Jacked up again. I was able to get 2 more clicks out of each one. They're at max height, and that's all I've got. But and you can see I've got about a little over a foot of clearance from the lower bumper, which if we take the bumper off, we can gain about 2 inches of clearance maybe, but depending on that. But you know, I don't think I need that. So my plan is we'll get the transmission lowered, see where we're sitting, and to pull the trans out on an as-need basis here, I was figuring we'll just jack it up because that's how much, I've got a lot of play there to get the van to physically raise, enough to pull the transmission out, I would say. Granted, I'll tilt the jack this way so we can pull our transmission jack out. And ideally, I'd like that on a board, but we'll see. I might be able to get a board in there because I can take those 2 out technically. I got 2 safety tires under there. I got 2 jacks on the back of the control arms there. Those are just in the air, but they're like this far, so they'll drop and hit it, in theory. So I got a couple safety measures in place. I got chocks behind the rear wheels, which are just some ramps. Well, we've got 1 tire off, and we've ran into an issue. So I've been seeing wasps flying around this thing all spring and all summer. Found one. He's up there. See him? You see him? I see him. You die. He's dead. A little bit of brake clean ought to set them straight. I would argue they are dead. I know there's more. I've seen them go up under the headlights here. They're up in the headlights somewhere. I would argue they are very dead. I think they are frozen and dead. Oh, I got a bunch of stuff pulled out of the way up top here so we can get in and access everything. I got this guy removed so he's disconnected there. Otherwise, down below, I've got the access cover off and I've got all the torque converter bolts out. So we're good to go as far as that goes. Now, what I've been kind of game planning. So I got to get the starter out next. And then I've got to get this center bracket out and this whole motor mount out. And then I got to get the trans mount out. I've been trying to game plan. I got to be able to hold the engine up as well. And I'm thinking we'll have to get a board or something across here and kind of ratchet strap the engine to that is my thought. You know, put a ratchet strap over the exhaust manifold here and ratchet it to a board going across. I think is my best idea. All right, got all of everything disconnected from the transmission. All the cooler lines, all of the electrical, both front and rear. Got the shift linkage undone, the little heater brackets undone. Like I said, the electrical back there. The only thing left holding the transmission, oh, the starter and everything too, then the front motor mount. The only thing holding the transmission in is this motor mount and the bolts holding it to the block. So we are just about ready to go. I'm going to get the transmission jack in place underneath, get the chain up wrapped around to figure out how the heck that works. And we'll go ahead and we'll take that mount out. We'll see how everything sits. Hopefully this ratchet holds it. And then we'll start doing the bell housing bolts. And then we should be able to bring it down and get it out of there. All right, all of the bell housing bolts out. I even got the transmission mount out of the way so I can slide the transmission. In theory, this thing should be free. I didn't like the chain. I don't understand how that works. I mean, it's on there, but I put a ratchet strap around it. So I think that'll do us some good. I don't know. Let's just get it out of here, see what happens, right? And I got a jack under the engine to help support it. That board wasn't going to be enough. But, I think... Yeah, look at that. It is free. Nice. It's kind of in a weird spot here with this jack. I need to kind of lower both the engine and the transmission to clear this. Yeah, I kind of got to go forward. That's not ideal. Well, it's going. We're kind of in a weird predicament here. Oh, I suppose. Could I tighten this now and pivot that, maybe? No, I just don't have the fucking room I want. Alright, let's see if that helps. Have a little more room. Let the go, you bastard. There we go. Now that we're not at a angle. Oh wow, there it goes. Hell low. That dipstick's gotta come out. Whoops, there she goes. A little heavy, I guess, huh? No, that'll work. There we go. I don't know if I'm ever gonna pull one like that again. I don't fucking like that. Not without a god. Well, that was an ordeal. That was in the way, and that caused me a lot of problems that I could have avoided if I had just gotten it out of the way. But it's out. Clearly, the jack stand is very well balanced. It is, you know, you can tell. But it's out. That's cool. I'm definitely not a fan of doing it that way. I think if I didn't have that jack there in the way, I wouldn't have cared, because I would have had I have a bigger board that would have taken up this whole space. We'd have no problems really at all, I don't think. Aside from the fact there's one of the dash screws up there. See him right there, right where that rust hole is? I put a hole in the top of my head just before I did this, and this got a lot of pain, and I'm not happy. So, you know. Anyway, our transmission's out, I guess, right? I guess? I don't know. the dipstick's technically got to come out to slide it out this way. That dipstick's pretty well seized in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it out this way. When we put our new transmission, we'll have the dipstick out and we won't have any problems. The van is definitely high enough, so we have no issues there. But I think this ratchet strap was going to hold the engine. Let's see if we can. Yeah, good. There, that is holding it now. I did have a jack under here, but now it's kind of free-ish. We'll keep both under there. Not gonna hurt. Anyway, yeah, it's out. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. I arguably, it's like a, I think it is less work, definitely. Definitely less work. And especially now that I've done some learning, because that's the first time I pulled one that way. I've pulled a few. I always end up pulling it out the top, and because I always have to have the engine out. This is the one time where we literally just went through that, and we don't need to. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of this transmission jack either, really. I don't know. It's out. Definitely a tight fit. Definitely something I wish I had a lift, because then you just lift the vehicle off. I don't know. Whatever. It's out. We're going to get this thing drug out over here on the concrete. We're going to get it up on the transmission stand, and we're going to get the two side by side. And I think we'll start, I don't know, we got to tear the other one apart and make sure the other one's good. But I had to have this one out anyway. So we are halfway there? I don't know what to, you want to call that halfway? Oh boy. It's out. I'm happy. We've accomplished that. I'll bring you back when I got some updates. All right, let's get this thing out of here. Come on, Mr. Transmission. Out you go. Nice. Dipstick. If it weren't for this dipstick, I would not be having near half the problems I'm having right now. But let's just say that this transmission stand needs more weight. It needs a freaking brick on the front. Come on. Go this way. There we go. Or was that so hard? Yeah, it was. Let's drag our prize away. Come on. Let's go. I win. I need a brick. Literally. All right, there it sits with our new jack stand weight. It's there. There she is. I guess we'll take a look at the leak now that we can we get in there? There's where she was leaking from, and still is technically. If I was to fill it up and run it, she doomed. Corrosion got her. Unfortunately. Alright, time to get to work, getting our other transmission good to go, I hope. Well, we've got the, you guys can't really see it actually, the kind of bracket for the stand bolted up to the transmission here. And, well, we've got to get it from there to here, and it's just me and this transmission jack and this tire that's holding it up from going like this and teetering over. So we're going to see what we can do to get it on there while minimally throwing out my back. Maybe I do that from the other side. You guys see what's about to happen there? So we just pivot our stand like so. We need to pick it up and swivel, I think. Over here. I don't know how this is gonna go. Need it to like tip. There we go, like that. Watch my feet. And just like that. Transmission out of the way. Actually, it's balanced perfectly. I did something right. Oh, safety chain's in the way. Not that it's doing anything, but... Alright, get it. And it actually rolls underneath there. That's actually nice. Look at that. Transmission back outside of this van. It worked for how many tenths of a mile if we look at the odometer? I think I've said it before, but we're to fact check myself here. I think it was 0.2 of a mile. Yes, as you can see, right there, because I reset the trip before we moved it. It is currently sitting at 0002. So that transmission successfully drove 0.2 of a mile, and it had forward and reverse gears. What it did not have is the ability to hold fluid for long periods of time. All right. Yep. Well, we tried. We tried. I think before we really touch our mystery transmission here, I think she needs a bath. I looped the hoses together here with some electrical tape. Sensors are all still in it. Really shouldn't get water in it. Torque converter's in it, so that's all sealed up. But I think we should get the pressure washer out quick and hose this thing down real good. Well, we got all the grime off the transmission, but I was not expecting that. Chrysler sprayed this one when they rebuilt it. Rebuild white, you know it's good. Wow. Actually looks kind of nice. Too bad it isn't all still white, but, you know, it looks pretty good. You can definitely tell it was rebuilt now. Our beautiful tag. Yeah, that looks good. Awesome. So let's get this rolled back up there, and we'll get this pan dropped out of it. We'll take a look inside. Hopefully we don't see any glitter. Because remember, this fan that this came out of that transmission had a service 70 miles before it was in the junkyard. So we'll see. We'll see how she looks. I don't know. Are we going to fast forward through taking all the bolts out? Probably. Well, I talked through it anyway. Probably. So, that's it. I would argue the pan was not dropped. Maybe they lied about doing a service. Maybe it's BS. You never know. I'm thinking they flushed it though. Oh, there's goodies in the pan. What do we got in there? So there's our pan. And there's stuff in there, but that stuff looks like it used to be alive. And the magnet, if you come and tilt, the magnet has got a thin film of oil as if it has 50,000 miles on it. I would argue that there's bugs in the transmission. Whatever that is. I would argue those were probably alive. Like the one that kind of looked alive-ish still. Or like it had a being. Yeah, that one. Him. Ew. Gross. Gross. Transmission pan moth. Just like the torque converter spiders. Yeah, I would argue I see no chunks of metal, just chunks of organic matter. You know, because that's what you want in your transmission. So, it's got a Filtran filter with a Pentastar emblem on it. So that is the filter that probably has been in there since they rebuilt it. So Filtran trans filters are OEM, I suppose. Yep, look at that Pentastar on there. So we are probably the first ones. We are definitely the first ones into this pan since it has been rebuilt. That's cool, I guess, right? I don't know. I don't see anything funny. We'll pull the filter off. But it looks good to me. You know. I think we're going to run it. We'll pull all the covers off. We'll take a look. But I think we're going to run that. Well, there we go. I got the new shift solenoid swapped over. Got our new to it sensor swapped over. I did retain the Mopar sensors that were in it. I would argue that that would be the smart play. We've got new sensors in this transmission, which I'll keep. But if we don't have issues, I'm not going to throw these aftermarket ones on. I'd rather run the Mopar stuff. So we've got all Mopar sensors, Mopar shift solenoid, newest revision Mopar shift solenoid. And it's all Mopar parts in here still. Well, I powered through. I'm sure I'll regret that in 5 hours when I need to get up for work. But I have resealed the whole new transmission. I did reuse the pan that came with it just because the pan on the original transmission, it was dented as heck. Still is, actually. But we cleaned that up. I got that pan off. I took that filter out and reused that brand new filter. And I was not able to save that gasket, but I had a kit lying around I robbed a gasket out of. One could argue I could have used that filter, but So that's all done. It's all sealed up, good to go. I think the only thing we haven't done is the axle seals, which these are 50,000 mile axle seals. I might gamble on them. I'll look at them real close. We'll see. I think I'm about done with this transmission. I think it's as ready as it'll ever be to go back in there. Well, in there for the first time. And we'll see if that transmission will do any better. It's definitely not going to have the same problem. But we'll see. I've got good hopes. I think that transmission will be okay. Okay, I'd argue we're about as ready as we're going to be. Got the board swapped out, got the jacks out of the way and positioned where we need them to be. And I did get the oil dipstick out, and then I also got the old shift linkage that was cut off of there. I almost forgot about that. So that's off there. I also anti-seized the tip so I wouldn't forget when I slid the new one on. And we should be good to go. Let's try fumble this thing on there without crushing myself, but we'll see. Close. Well, did you looky there at that? Little bit of I don't know what you want to call it. Back and forth on this guy, just kind of adjusting it, getting it just right. I think I found the culprit, or one of the culprits. I left this bracket in because I wanted to cheat. This bracket was in the way of the little, what do you want to call it, the little axle housing bit on the end. And I think that caused us issues getting it out, because it certainly caused us issues going back in. So I got him out, and guess what? It went right up in. So, believe that. It's in. It's bolted up. Bolts are pretty well tight. I want to tighten them a little more once I get the motor mount in place. But, yeah, they're tight. It's snug. I haven't checked to make sure the engine spin's free, but the bolts went on with 0 resistance. So, yeah, I think we're looking good. It's in there. That's the hard part done right there. So I'm gonna get the motor mount in there, or the transmission mount, I should say. Then we'll get that bolted up, get the ratchet strap out of there, get the trans jack out, and we'll start putting this thing back together. It should go together quicker than it came apart. We might have this on the ground tonight, if I'm quick. We'll see. But that means I gotta put the camera down. I gotta work. So I'll bring you back when we've got updates. And here we are with an update. I've got the entire top side all done. Arguably the wrong order to have done that in, but that's what I wanted to do. So that's what we did. She's all buttoned up. I even got the wire harness down here all like tied up proper. Remember that can of Harbor Freight zip ties? That's what we're using here. So we got all the zip ties in here. I haven't plugged the rad fan in. I kind of forgot to do that. So we'll do that now because that's hanging. But yeah, she's all buttoned up nice. Looks good. Yep, now it's on to getting the suspension and, axles and everything back in, and then fill it up. I found 2 quarts of Valvoline ATF4. I gotta do some hunting. I'm low on ATF4, and that stuff's like $10 million a quart. So, but we're getting pretty close. Oh yeah, starter and everything's up there too, along with that mount. I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, that's all up in there too. Yeah, we're doing real good. I do got to do the torque converter bolts yet. I haven't done that yet. But yeah, don't forget to do that, or it's like, oh, why doesn't it go anywhere? Oh, gee, I don't know why. What's that obnoxious noise? Yeah. All right, I will probably bring you back when I'm done. Y'all want to know what the biggest jump scare is after you just put a transmission in a van? When you open the back door here, and you see a flex plate sitting there with all the bolts. And then you're like, wait a second. That's the flex plate off the motor the transmission came from. Scared the heck out of myself for a fat second there. Yeah, these are all the spare brackets from that when I pulled the 2 apart. I'm in here looking for the sway bar, actually. I've got both hubs and spindles and axles and everything on both sides kind of loosely in place. I gotta use the witness marks and get it aligned back together, but that's all in there. I was looking at putting the sway bar in soon, and he's in here somewhere. And I think I've got all the bolts and stuff. I even got a spare set of brackets too now from the donor van as well. Yep, there's our sway bar and the junkyard van here. I've got a bunch of actual sway bar brackets now, which is nice. So, because all the ones on the van here were good. And then I've got the set from here, and then I've got the set from the van that the engine and transmission came from too. So we're looking pretty there. But I'm going to dig that sway bar out, see what I got for some bushings, and we'll throw that up in there too. I've even got a battery tray, it looks like. I don't need that, but I've got one. And an air box? Whoa, we're sitting in a brand new air filter in there too. Man, I forgot about all this stuff. Oh, wait. Hey, these might be the bushings right here. Yeah. Hey, bushings. I bought the bushings. What's the date on that Rock Auto order? March 8th, 2025. Hey, look at that. And I ordered the sway bar bushings. That's the inners and the outers right there in a box. Ready to go, waiting for me. Along with some bulbs for the visor up there, because I borrowed some bulbs at one point. What do we got in here? Heater core. I bought a heater core for it because I know I got to rip that dash out. Wow, look at me. Heater core. How's ours look? I wonder if I just grabbed this for giggles, because it looks, I think ours is good. It's got some scratch marks and it's not the prettiest, but that one's actually, yeah, this one's really nice. That's probably why I grabbed it. Oh, we'll save him for later. Too late, I already bolted the other one on. A wiper linkage. I think that's because our wiper arms are stuck. And I'm worried I'm going to have to cut them out. So that's good. Jack. A whole... what do you want to call that? Wiper cowling. Nice. I see radiator hoses and stuff in here. And a belt. And brand new wiper arms. Wow. Look at me. We're not putting those hoses on. It's full of coolant. It's going to stay that way. Yeah, look at the brackets on there. Those brackets don't even have hardly any rust on them. So we'll save those for something good, which is not this. But we will use one of those bolts. Oh yeah, those are the 2 spare jacks that were in the vehicle. And there's our sway bar right there. And a tire release. Look at that. I think that's because I pulled the bumper and I had to pull it anyway. So, and that is the front of the hood weather stripping, which I stole off of Carrie and to put on here. So there's another one. And there's a box of parts up there. I think there's a mirror in there because we're missing a mirror. And there's a wiper motor because we're missing a wiper motor because ours was broke. Wow, look at me. All kinds of good parts, some vacuum bits and heater core hoses. I think some of that was for Carrie, actually. But it looks like it ended up in here. Okay. New to it sway bars all in. All bolted up, tightened down. Brand new bushings. And I lubed up all of the brackets. Obviously all of the bushings. All of the hardware. So in theory we shouldn't have any repeats of what happened. She's pretty nice. That's too nice for this van. New bushings. What? Doesn't even move yet. I found 4 full quarts and 3 half quarts. That should be enough to get us done. But I'm done for the night. She's all cleaned up, ready to go for tomorrow. Well, did you looky there? The van is on the ground and it is done. I got the tie rods bolted up, torque to spec. I got the axle nuts torque to spec. We've got the struts aligned based on the rust align marks, and it's realigned to what it was before, and all tightened down. I guess, yeah, you haven't been here today, have you? I got The torque converter bolts in, Loctited, and good to go. They're tight. The brackets on the rear, little inspection cover, a couple other bits and pieces, I'm sure. I buttoned the whole thing up. And here, let's put some juice on it. I even went in and I grabbed the seat and I bolted it in, and I even bolted the seat belt in. No expense spared there. I got some stuff to clear off the dash quick. The floor's a little lacking. Here, I think I got a fix for that. Will that fit in there? No, probably not. I've got a floor mat I'll put in there. I got bored in here and I ripped this little cover out. And yeah, because it was rotten. That cover was rotten. But I got in here and all the sand in here was able to knock most of it out right out to that rust hole. So, you know, that's a mint. So I think these floors are far enough gone that I'm actually going to have to cut and weld in a good chunk, which is great. But let's go ahead. I'll get this cleared off. I'll get you on the tripod. We're going to fire the van up, make sure it still runs. It should. And we'll see if this van will drive more than 1/5 of a mile after 21 plus years. Kind of getting closer to 22 as we keep letting it sit here. But, and hopefully this transmission that has sat since 2005 with only 50,000 documented miles on it also works. Hopefully. We'll see. All right, here goes nothing. And it might be a little low on fluid. I only put 4 quarts in it. It's on the stick, so it should be enough, but we'll have to check it for sure. Well, she's running. Do you have any fluid leaks? Certainly don't look like it. All right, let's put her in gear. All right, transmission. You can do it. It's probably really low on fluid because it kind of wanted to move there. Let's see. Sucked it dry. Let's see what we got here. Is it a quart? She's at least a quart low. Where'd the funnel go? There it is. But you guys saw it, it moved. Drink up. Try running through the gears again with that in there. still very low on transmission fluid. Check it again. Who knows how much was still in the torque converter after it sat? Not to mention we had it upside down. I don't think it's reading on the stick yet. Another quart low, at least. I think she just low. Hopefully. Hopefully. How about now? That'll do it.
Check it again.
It's probably still really low. I bet that torque converter didn't have as much fluid in it as I figured. Yeah, look at that though. That thing just backed up and it's not pouring fluid out of it, and it went forward. That van has been sitting there since February, I think, so what is that, 6 months? Look at these. Look at all of them. There's a fourth one back there. All right. We'll check the fluid again. Another quart low. I'm almost out of transmission fluid. Motor sounds really good though. That motor sounds really good. Try that. I think it was just at the bottom of the dipstick, so that should get us somewhere. That's a little better. Well, did you look at that? It at least goes forward and backwards now. It was very low on fluid. Very low. I suppose just having all the pans apart and it sat for 20 years. Who knows? Torque converter is definitely low, it seems. But it looks like to be engaging in forward and reverse, believe it or not. Figure, let's do some driving around the yard. How much gas do I got in it? Empty. Hey, do we got any gas in a can? Better than nothing. Oil pressure's looking good, but we have no fuel. We're gonna see if I can get some fuel in this thing quick. Can't believe that muffler's still quiet. I haven't touched that thing. That's crazy. We'll see how long that lasts. All right, Dad's going to find the fuel. I've got the fuel funnel. Listen to that thing purr. That motor runs too good. Way too good. Oh, the wasps are pissed. I killed one nest under there, but there's another nest up under here. Yeah, they're all there. I see a bunch of them. There's 3 of them, 2 in there, 1 flying around. Oh, there's the 3rd one. They're staring at me. They're pissed. They're being evicted right now. They are mad. Great. All right, well, she's got a little bit of fuel. Let's see how well she moves. She's got more than 1 gear. We don't know that yet. All right, wait here. First time on the road in over 21 years. Actually, shut it off. Make sure it starts. Fires right up. At least some. Kind of smells like something's burning. I smell leaves. Oh, yeah, I smell burning leaves somewhere. Oh. Oh. What are you doing? Did not want me to look underneath. It's pissed. I think it's pissed the temp gauge quit working. It's mad. I'm gonna go get it some more gas. I think it does not like being empty. But we're gonna limp it over here. But it did have gears when it was running good. Come on, over you go. Oh, that's it. Why don't you look at that? She does run and drive under her own power. Well, we're back. I put 5 gallons of fresh fuel in it, 91 octane. Let's see how she likes that, and if she does, I have 5 more gallons. But in the event I have to drop the tank, I decided not to put it in there. I almost did, but I decided not to. I learned my lesson. So let's see if she fires up. Let's see how much fuel she's got first. It reads half a tank. That's all right. Hey, look, temp gauge is back. Well, it's running good right now. And the temp gauge is back. You know what else I wanted to check? Lights all work. Still. Yeah, they do. I got a burned out bulb up there. I gotta fix that quick. Got 2 fronts. Don't have markers. What do we got for rears? We got taillights back here? Yes, we do. We got license plate lights? We got one. Let me know if I got brakes. Brakes? How about center? Does the center one work? Yeah, but is it lit up? Yeah. All right. Well, we got lights. Seems to be idling. I'm gonna let it idle for a minute, and I'm gonna swap. Oh, hey, look! That I slammed the door and that bulb came back on. Got all the lights up on the visor. Look at that. What do you think? Running better now?
I know when you drive around, let it get a little warmer.
Yeah. Well, temp gauge is still up there. Looks good, not sitting. That's for sure.
The blinkers up front?
It didn't fast blink, so I think they're working. Good? Yeah. That side? Yeah. Nice. All right, well, let's see. Let's see if it'll run now. What? Oh, high beams? Good? Oh. That one, that high beam's out? All right, we got one high beam out. We can live with that. It goes right into gear now. No clunks in gear. All right, let's go for a cruise. Almost at 1 mile. We're at 0.8 of a mile. Speedo is working. Tack is working. Temp is working. Fuel is working. Oil pressure is working. We're charging. And we're cruising. There's a 1988 Ford F-150. And a 2004 F1 Shitty. And a 2002 Silverado. All right, let's go for second gear. It's got it. Makes a funny noise. Go for third. Got it. Well, she's doing it. First time on the road, look at that. Well, second technically. Oh, and it downshifts just fine. Making some weird whistling noises, but there's holes in the floor, so I'm not too sure about that. All right, let's turn around here. Don't want to go too far from home yet. I don't trust it at all. But it seems to be running okay. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, it seems to be driving okay. It's kind of dying again. And the temp gauge quit again. What is up with that? I'm thinking that's related, huh? So I don't think it's fuel, but hey, look at that, 1.8 miles. She's still rolling. 212, 249. Yeah, it wants to die again. We gotta figure out what's up with that. Our first issue. Well, sitting here idling fine. The temp, or the, I think it knows what the temp is. I think the sensor works because it just kicked the fan on and off. So I think it works. It's the gauge just quits or goes funny. And right now it's idling fine. So I don't know. You know, one of those, it's been sitting for 21 years. We're gonna call it honestly 2003. And I think her name is Blueberry, by the way. We've got Barry, the 93 Caravan, and we've got Blue, or Blueberry, the 91 Grand Caravan SC. You guys seem to have all come to the consensus that Blueberry is a good name, and I'm going to agree with you. Well, I've kind of just been letting it idle here. Added another quart of trans fluid. I think that's 7 quarts we've added to it. And while it was idling here, and I'm just making sure the fan is cycling properly, it is. It's clicking on and off. There's a wasp flying around. He's been evicted. I put the 2 marker lights in, so we've got all of the markers. Oh, that wasp doesn't like me. Doesn't like me. Oh, a barn swallow should eat him. Anyway, I got the markers in. You know, it's still idling here. I figure we'll try take it for another spin here. Try to do some better camera footage here. I'm kind of trying to monitor its vitals. Oil pressure is still looking okay. It's on the low side a little bit, but like I don't mind that. As long as it stays there and doesn't make a bunch of rattly noises, it's all right. I'm gonna put the seatbelt on this time because I think we're gonna try go fast. As fast as I feel comfortable in this thing, which makes a bunch of weird rattles and stuff. Okay, see how she likes the extra quart of trans fluid. Oh, I think the brakes are stuck. It's like, wait, where'd my gears go? Nah, the front brakes are stuck on. Okay, we might not go very fast or very far, but it's running strong. And the kind of burning leaf smell has gone away, I think. Yeah, those brakes are on. Well, definitely runs and drives. Those brakes are stuck. Power steering's starting to whine, so I wonder if it's low on fluid or something. But it sits and idles fine. It kind of cuts out once in a while it's under load, it looks like. But it's under a heavy load because those brakes are stuck. Anyway, I think that's going to do it. At least for now. We've got a bunch of work. I got lots of interior work to do. Lots of metal repair on the floors. Eventually out here, but I think we're going to let that eat for now. Kind of want to drive it with the patina. I kind of like the patina. I do kind of want this thing actually want to paint this one. But I think I like the patina look for now, so I think we'll rock that. Especially, we got a lot of kinks to work out before we got paint. Hear that strut? That is definitely that strut. This strut is seized. I mean, it moves, but it's like stuck. That strut's shot. Obviously, we got brakes. I need to order some, I think just brake hoses. I think that's all we need up front. I got to pull, I don't remember. I don't know if I've ever pulled those drums off. But maybe I'll look back at footage. I got to do some editing tonight and or tomorrow for you guys. But I'll have to look at, probably order hardware for those. Fronts I'm going to get away with, I think. But we need new hoses for sure because they've seized. Hopefully not calipers. We'll see. Almost have to take it apart and diagnose and see if it's a caliper or a hose. I would think it's a hose, but or just a hose, but I don't know. But this van does now run and drive on its own after 21 years. First time on the road in 21 years. And I had it doing 40 miles an hour or so. I'm happy. I'm super happy. That transmission we gambled on turned out, it looks like I think we did good. I think we did good, and we even got an engine with it. Not that this one needs it, but you never know. It's always good to have an engine around. This van looks nice. When I first saw this van, I was like, there's no way I'm keeping that visor and that spoiler. There's no way. That's coming off too. There's no way. I love it. This is great. And you guys very correctly pointed out those original mud flaps that were on there were part of some running boards that this used to have. I gotta do some hunting. This thing would look great with running boards on it. Fully kitted out. So, but that's future. That's future. I think next episode we are going to work on the interior. We've got a lot of work to do, including first time putting new fabric on a headliner, for me anyway. First time doing that. I'll definitely show you guys. I think I've already shown you guys the disassembly and foam removal, but we're gonna try to lay some new fabric on. I've got a roll of fabric with it already. Obviously we gotta clean the carpets, clean the seats. Everything's been airing out in the basement for the last 6 months, so, and it seems to smell okay. We gotta take the dash out still, clean out any mice houses in the evap system and the HVAC. New heater core we gotta put in it. We've gotta do brakes, fix the brakes front and rear. It needs tires. I think I might think about getting some tires on order for it at some point here. It needs suspension work. Tie rods and ball joints seem good. Ball joints are brand new. Tie rods look good. I'll grease them all up and everything. But we need front struts and rear shocks. That's for sure. Then we got to figure out that run issue and that temp gauge. I know it's reading temp fine, but the gauge quits when it warms up. So I don't know if we got to swap that chunk of the cluster or what. But we'll do some testing when we start pulling the dash apart, because we'll have the cluster out for that. So I've got a little chunk of gauges that we should be able to put in its place if that's what's wrong. We've got one marker on the license plate bulbs that's out. We've got a hitch to remove because he's crunchy. Where he's mounted into the bumper's rotted away, so we'll get rid of it. We need the rest of the exhaust. Probably put a muffler on it because I'm sure that'll blow out, but that's in the future. We've got to fix a couple holes in the roof from where the old roof rack used to sit, and we also have to fab a way to get our new roof rack mounted on, because I do have a new roof rack for it, a factory roof rack. But that was a long-winded outro. You know what else I noticed I think it had? It must have had like some spotlights or something here, because there's some stick down. Must have had something here. Anyway, we're going to leave it at that. That is the end of the episode on Blueberry, the 1991 Dodge Grand Caravan SE that sat for over 21 years. Now she runs and drives. Let's make it reliable. Let's get it back on the road, and let's drive it. I will see you guys next time. Look at her go. She's doing 40 just fine. Drive straight, wheel is straight. Brakes are definitely hot though. Look at her go. A little squirrely, but look at it. 40 off, there goes the speedo. Great. I wonder if we just melted some wires. I'm gonna check that. Rip. Well, that's great. Everything's dying. 45, that's it. That's all she gets. God dang it. Alright, that's not bonus footage for you. I'm done. I'll see you guys next episode.